Hey, this is Paul Lathrop from the Polite Society Podcast, reminding you that this podcast is a member of the Self-Defense Radio Network. Check out all the other great podcasts on the network at selfdefenseradio.net.
Welcome to Unload and Show Clear, powered by Match Shark. Listener ready? Stand by.
Welcome to another episode of Unload and Show Clear, a podcast about the men and women who compete in IDPA matches around the world. I'm your host, Lloyd Bailey. IDPA, International Defensive Pistol Association, was formed out of the concealed carry movement back in the 1990s. It's based on the founders' desire for a sport based on real-world defensive skills and not just fancy equipment. IDPA matches are a series of stages that are based on realistic defensive scenarios, and they'll test the shooter's skills in gun handling, accuracy, speed, and problem solving. Men and women from around the world compete every week in IDPA matches, and here at Unload and Show Clear, we introduce you to those people. We talk one-on-one, people, not politics. These are not professional athletes. They're everyday men and women, your neighbors, your coworkers, public servants, your kids' teachers, and you're going to meet one of those great people today. And for 2020, Unload and Show Clear is powered by Match Shark. If you watch videos from last year's IDPA World Championship 2019, you will see that shooters had to deal with the discomfort of shooting in sometimes heavy rain. If you were at that match, or if you were with me at the 2019 Arkansas State match, you know how much fun it can be to shoot in the rain, especially heavy rain. Why do I say that? Well, pasting and scoring targets is not fun at all. Not only are you and your equipment soaked, not only are you cold and wet and damp and uncomfortable, but pasting and scoring targets makes your day even that much more fun. You can't see the scoring zones. The pasters and the tape won't stick to the targets. The targets ultimately will disintegrate because they get waterlogged and have to be changed more frequently. Well, contrast that Arkansas State match to the World Championship and compare the targets. There was a big difference. The difference was you had baggies on the Arkansas targets and you had Match Shark covering the World Championship targets. Match Shark's patent-pending target shields keep targets dry even in heavy rain. They're reusable too, so the cost of those shields is quickly recovered by simply patching and reusing them over and over and over again, because you're not shooting the shield, you're shooting the backer that holds the shield to the target stand. Well, once you're done, you just take the things off, slap a little paster on it. There's a tape paster that covers up the holes. Boom, you're set to reuse it over and over and over again. And it makes your staff happier because setup and scoring and tear down are so much easier. It makes your shooters happier because they can see the targets and they don't have to deal with plastic bags. They're designed and manufactured right here in the United States. They are owned and operated by two IDPA shooters themselves, people experienced in match direction and setup. Will and Chris Schmid, whom you've heard on this podcast, they understand the challenges that match staff face when dealing with wet weather. So let them help you run your matches faster and smarter and make it a better experience for your safety officers and your shooters. Visit matchshark.com today and get everything you need to be prepared for your next rainy day match. That's matchshark.com. Visit them today, matchshark.com. Our special guest today is Wes Jones from Midland, Texas. Wes, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lloyd. Happy to be here.
Midland, Texas. What do you do for a living in Midland?
I'm the energy manager at Midland Independent School District.
I noticed that on your profile. What is an energy manager?
Well, that could take all day. I don't have anything to do with the oil field, obviously. That is what we live out here in West Texas.
Right.
But I've been in the air conditioning and building management field for 27 years and moved into this job in the school district to help curtail some behavioral based expenses, like people forget to turn lights off, they forget to turn computers off. So we have an auditing where we go around the schools and do that. Plus, I also take care of the utility bills and scheduling needs for the school district as far as building use and air conditioning and heat.
So you're responsible for going around putting stickers on the next to the light switches to remind people to turn the lights off when they leave the room?
I believe in the who can embarrass who as far as teachers and campuses. Look, you guys got 100, you got 70. Something's wrong here. And teachers are funny animals because they really like sticky notes and they love encouragement, and they don't like the oops notes where you left something. So it, they all get to know you, and we have 26,000 students and around 3,400 staff, and they all know me in one form or another.
That is a huge school district. Holy cow. I had no idea Midland's ISD was that big. Well, you're sitting out in the middle of nowhere, and
right.
That's pretty much it for, like, I flew into Midland to visit a client in the oil industry not long ago, in the last few years, and was amazed that, in the middle of the night, you drive outside the city limits, and you're in the middle of nowhere. There is absolutely nothing. It's like they turned off the world.
In the past couple of years, it's with the oil field activity, we don't have as many dark places as we used to. You've got to go for a drive now. If I drive to my parents in Pecos, 120 miles away, it's lit up. There's a pilot truck stop in the Monaghan Sandhills right on the south side of the interstate. Never would have thought that in my whole life, seen something like that. And there's a truck stop. Amazing. It's like every 10, 15, 20 miles, there's somewhere to stop. It's like, okay, there's no excuse anymore to fall asleep or do anything crazy.
So parents are in Pecos.
It's very busy out here. Very busy.
Oh, yeah. So parents in Pecos, so I'm guessing native of West Texas?
Well, actually, I was born... but dad was in Vietnam. I was born in Charleston, South Carolina. And then by way of his military, we ended up, his family, was in South Texas. So we ended up in South Texas afterwards. And dad moved us out west, is what I always said back when I was a kid. Because I thought it was going to be the West, and it wasn't. It was dirt and farms and, cotton and cantaloupe.
Right.
But he moved us out there, and I ended up going to school out there.
Okay. So what is IDPA like? What is in the Permian Basin? It is, I was out there, and it was a whole lot of oil fields and dust and heat. What is IDPA like in the basin?
I was listening to one of your podcasts, and they were discussing Texas weather. I think it was Bora Angel, how it changes every 15 minutes. And, Midland, we had a couple inches of snow a couple of weeks ago, and then today it was 84 degrees. So we do have that extreme out here. It is dirty and dusty, and we try to have our matches when the targets aren't being flipped over, or you've got to brace them and run lag bolts into the ground. And sometimes we have a little rain, and if we do call it, we all get picked on and say, wait, aren't you guys out there practicing? So we don't have enough boats to fill the bays, so we're not equipped for that. But I hope that I am helping grow it out here. I've only been the match director since September 2018.
Okay.
And I've only been in IDPA since August of 2017.
Oh, okay. We'll get to that in a minute. I want to hear about how this happened. Well, Army brat, growing up in the South and in South Texas, how were you introduced to guns? Was it through that experience, your dad being in the military, or was it going hunting, or what was it?
None of the above. I'll rewind you. Dad was Air Force, but not a big deal.
Gotcha. Okay.
We didn't had the little Daisy Red Ryder BB gun growing up, and but Star Wars coming out in the late 70s was more important than a BB gun.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my direction. I didn't start doing any shooting until high school, and I was a member of the 4-H 22 rifle team, and it was just our local 4-H club in Pecos. And that's the only competition shooting I did until I joined the Marine Corps. It's not really a competition, but you shoot, you have to shoot, and you have to be, competent. And I never, after I got out of the Marine Corps, I really tapered off and didn't shoot for a long time, 20 plus years. I mean, I would go out and dabble. I worked at a prison as a prison guard for a little while and played around with that. And I enjoyed that because they had revolvers there, and I have a deal for revolvers, and it was fun to shoot back then, but I got out of it again, and then here I am doing IDPA.
So thank you for your service, by the way. What made you decide joining the Marines was what you wanted to do? Dad was Air Force. No, didn't want to be in the Air Force. What made you decide on the Marines?
It's just an odd time. I was in college and couldn't get my head on straight. So I went looking at recruiters and talked to a few of them, took the ASFAB, and the sad story is, if I remember back to 1988, I went into the recruiting office and everybody was closed except the Marines. And the guy sitting behind the front desk, luck of the draw, the guy sitting behind the front desk was this big hulking guy with a 44-ounce iced coffee, and had a dip of tobacco, and he, caffeine and nicotine, this guy's going the whole time. And he just, he talked me into it.
Sold you. Okay.
He sold me a bill of goods, let me tell you. And then I went in, which was even, I guess, I don't know if that was better or worse, but I went in open enlistment, didn't have a selected career. And in boot camp, at the end of boot camp, the drill instructor called out my name and he asked me, what did I do? And I'm like, I'm in trouble. Am I not going to get out of here? He said, you're going to go 3072, which was aviation supply mechanized. So you're thinking 1988, mechanized in the military means computers. And nobody in the fleet used computers at the time. They used that green bar paper that's 3 feet long. And nobody wants to touch a computer. Of course, it's a green screen computer that's about 8 inches.
Right.
They don't know how to work in it. So yeah, it was different. It was an auto zone for helicopters, but we were modernizing at the time.
So you get out of the Marines, you go years without shooting. What interested you in picking up a gun again, and what was the introduction to competitive shooting?
I picked up a few handguns and an AR, and got a safe and did those things, and you don't know what you're getting into. And my wife didn't discourage me, and she still doesn't discourage me. She tells me to go have fun, which I totally appreciate. And I just was going out to the range shooting, silhouettes with 22s, and taking my kids and going to an indoor range that we're members of here, and just plinking. And I happened to see an IDPA match in progress, and I was hooked. I mean, that fish hook couldn't go any deeper. I think I shot two matches, joined immediately, and I was there. Our matches are on the second Saturday of every month, weather withstanding, and I think I was there every Friday helping set up. I never missed a day. I was there. Let's build stages. Let's get it ready for the morning. And then I jumped in, and here we are.
So that eagerness to help out ultimately led to, hey, Wes would make a great match director. Let's put all the responsibility on him. How did that happen? Within a year of joining, you were the match director for What is the name of the club? Permian Basin
IDPA.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it was, hey, Wes could do this. It was more the director at the time, Bill Cook, and he'd run the match and the club out here for several years. He's a teacher, teaches robotics at our high school, and he's very busy with those kids. And he said, hey guys, I don't have the time, and I need to back away. And so I threw my name in the hat and emailed the Midland Shooter Association range that we host our matches at, and I got an email back from the rifle range director saying, well, hold on, let's let the membership decide who's going to be the match director. And I'm the new guy, I don't know any better, and I'm like, well, the membership doesn't shoot, let's let the IDPA shooters decide the match director.
Right.
And so at the next we had a meeting, and wasn't a lot of turnout, maybe 20, 25 people. And I was shooting with a couple of guys that have been IDPA members for a long time. And I got paired with Ernest Lee. I don't know if you know Ernie. He was here for a while, based out of Houston, shoots IDPA all over the place. Great guy. We got paired together as co-match directors. And I really learned a lot from Ernie. He drugged me to Lubbock to go shoot at Patriot Indoor on their IDPA matches, and I learned a lot from him. And then he got a different job offer with Oilfield, and same company, and they moved back to Houston. So now I'm flying solo. And I hope I'm doing okay. We're having fun, so
that's the important thing. What when you first joined, what was participation like? What you said they wanted to let the membership of the shooting club decide, who the match director would be. How many of the members of the club were actually regularly participating in IDPA at that time?
The Midland Shooter Association has several thousand members, but we don't have that in IDPA. It'd be unreal. Right. We could post it, but I'm trying to think. We would have squads of 6, 7, and we'd probably have 3 or 4 squads.
Okay.
And when the weather's good and we have good turnout, we'll have 10 to 12 now in 4 squads. Pretty easy. Sometimes we push it and we add another person, or we always get someone hey, I just want to watch, and I'm like, well, did you bring a gun? Because you're going to shoot. And if they don't have one, we have enough members that we have enough loners that we'll get them started. And I've had people join IDPA while they're shooting a match with us. Wow. So I thought that was a good kudos to us.
Nice. So
I've got a couple of good guys that are consistently helping. I mean, they're always wanting to do what they can. And it's funny, one of them's not an IDPA guy. He's real heavy into 3-gun. He showed up last year about this time with a 3-gun rig on, shotgun holders and everything. He said, I just came shoot. And it's okay, you're shooting for fun, not for score. And he comes out. He still comes out. He's a USPSA member, and he comes out and shoots, and we welcome him every time.
Nice.
Dustin Green, he's a great guy.
So do you remember, let's go back to your first IDPA match that you competed in before you got so heavily involved. Do you remember that experience, what it was like and how you did?
I think I was lucky to hold on to my pistol the whole time. I was really, the guys here are great. They're very easy going along, but I was intimidated.
Right.
I wasn't first and I wasn't last, but I was very intimidated with the just stepping up and watching these guys go through. It was, I was impressed. It was, I think I was like, I'm pulling up one of the results on email, and I was like 9 out of 22. So I said, hey, I can do this.
Right.
But I was so nervous. I like, there's no race to holster. Slow down, slow down. But it was a challenging match, and learning how the practice score worked, learning the IDPA rules. I think I came in at a good time because the rule change had already happened.
Right.
So I wasn't having to flip my brain around every time someone had a question, which when we shoot matches now, I still carry a rule book with me. I do not know all the rules. I will tell everybody that, right? But I will pull the book out and let's look at it.
Right.
Let's discuss it.
Yeah, that's a good thing, because it's that transition from the 2015 rule book to 2017. That was an interesting change, and as much griping and complaining as there was during that time, it's turned out for the better, and I think the rules at this point are pretty solid, and if you've gotten if you didn't have to unlearn all of that stuff that you that you had to deal with prior to 2017, then not a bad place to start. So what did you do after that first match? You said that they couldn't sink that hook any deeper. What was the next step for you? Did you just go whole hog practicing all the time, buying all new equipment? And I mean, how did your life change after this experience?
Well, I think it opened my eyes to not just the equipment, but the caliber of the skill. Going out and practicing, you're not standing at a static target, bang bang, little hole. You need to move left, right, forward, back. You need to put some thought in what your game plan is going to be, because this is our game.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started working on it day in, day. And I don't practice every day. I'm not doing JJ Racaza dry fire videos. And, although I love watching, but I do as much as I can. But there's a lot of the old guard, the old guys that come out and they say, well, what IDPA stands for, we all know that, and the moniker there, and they don't practice, and they just come shoot and have fun, and they don't care what the rank is. And I just want to shoot well and be consistent.
Right.
I think that IDPA has given me the opportunity to actually be a better shooter than what I was before. And I've branched out, started in SSP, and then, oh, look, my M&P needs this, and now I need that. Now I need a magwell. So I've also got a PCC. I've got a revolver. I've got a CDP pistol. And, I just think it's given me more opportunity to shoot different firearms and try to get more proficient at it at a game. But that also, it does translate to me, to the founder's vision of IDPA, is to give you practice in real life, drawing, holstering, firing, doing all the things you need.
In that time between first discovering IDPA and becoming a match director, did you get out and try your hand at a sanctioned match? We've Texas, we've got we have an overabundance of
2019.
Oh, very good. Okay. Tell us about that. I hate I missed you there. I didn't get to compete in that one. So tell us about that experience. What was the first sanctioned match like for you?
It was awesome to see the number of competitors with the quality of competitors, and that everybody was having fun. It was just, I'd never seen a big match like this. It's always been a little, 40 or 50 guys, but this was, or girls and gals. And this was a very well laid, Trugo 2019 at Mission 160 was it was laid out great. The stages were challenging, let me tell you. That car stage, there's some big guys, and none of us are little guys. And that car was kind of difficult. and his teeter-totter stage was a lot of fun. It said, hey, we can do this in our local match if we have a few props. So, I take a little of that knowledge with me, but I just had a lot of fun. It was a lot of camaraderie. There was, I just didn't see any problems with it. This is something I wanted to do. So then I ended up going and shooting in Crescent for their major match.
Mm-hmm.
And that was even more fun because I walked off with a free pistol out of that one. So
nice. That's always nice. Those are, we're very blessed in Texas to have an overabundance of matches within a reasonable distance, and some really excellent facilities and really talented match directors. What tell us a little about your performance that day. That's the difference between shooting with 30 or 40 guys and shooting with 200 people is quite all in their as I like to call it, their NASCAR jerseys is a little bit different.
Yes. I'm gonna say big yes on that. It was very different. These guys were geared up. My wife makes t-shirts. She has a little one of those machines that cuts vinyl. So she made the three of us, Ernie and I and Anthony London, that went from here, shirts, and they were blue shirts, and they had an IDPA target in the back with 2 in the body, 1 in the head, and it said Cardboard Assassins. And except Anthony's shirt, one of the bodies missed. She said I couldn't make it perfect for him, and he didn't notice that until we got there. But everybody's looking at our shirts like, hey, these aren't smooth out of a factory. These are, but they took pictures of it, so I thought that was cool. But I remember, I think there was 60 some competitors in ESP at the time, and I was somewhere in the middle. I'm trying to, my score wasn't horrible, but for my first outing, I was pleased. I think I was like, nobody looked. Everybody looks at the overall, even though it doesn't matter.
Even though it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, it makes no difference. But I was like 107th out of the total 200 plus shooters. So I can't. I'm trying to remember how many shooters were. It was 200 plus shooters, but I was 107. So I was middle of the road. First time out, super major match. I was pumped.
That's cool.
So then, like I said, I signed up for Lone Star, and that was fun because that was my transition into doing a little PCC work,
right,
which was a lot of fun. And then I shot PCC at Nationals, and that was amazing. My performance wasn't, but the match was. You've heard the term dumpster fire.
Oh yeah.
I dumpster fired a stage so that, I was fighting to stay in the middle, but it was amazing to go to Talladega. I drove there, had a great drive, shot with some guys, met a few guys I'd never met before, and just had a great time.
Awesome.
Got to meet Joyce, hadn't met Joyce until that day. And then Brian Erler comes up and says, Wes, you need to host a match out in West Texas.
Yes.
Well, let me get some time under my belt, and we'll do that. Because they did have a match here. I'm trying to think if it was 7 years ago. It was Guns and Gushers, and it had an oil field with, instead of the derrick top, it was a pistol on top of the derrick. So
cool.
I found one graphic. So that's in the works. We're talking about that over here.
Okay. So compare your first. Let's talk about your first go round as a match director. What was when they finally decided, okay, Wes, you're going to be the match director. This next weekend is your match, or next month is your match. What was that first match director weekend like for you? And what did you have planned, and how did it go? And did it actually meet your expectations?
Nothing went as planned. I could not figure out how to sync a practice score tablet to another. I had to call the former match director, woke him up. Hey, how do you do this? Go here, push that, go here. Oh, okay, I got it. I figured it out, and and then assigning people to squads. And well, we all want to squad together. Okay, I don't know how to move people. So I was trying to learn on the fly, and I had put down a hammer down time, and we missed that by a few minutes. And then I forgot to put the flags out. We had to go do our safety briefing. It's like, oh man, where's the flags? And it was just all these things hit me at once. The match went over fine. No DQs, no equipment failures, no prop failures. Everybody had fun. So I was happy about that. It's just the backside of the match was something I really had to jump on that learning curve on.
Gotcha. So
it was fun. It was very intimidating, but when it was done and I got all the scores sent back and posted it, then it was like, hey, look, everybody got a score. And then here comes the questions. Well, can you send it to me in this file? Can you do that? We did this way before.
Just when you thought you'd gotten through it.
Well, it was like, okay, our match is ended by 1. Targets are up. Got home. My wife says I come home, sit on the chair, a recliner, and I was out for like an hour and a half. And then it's like, I'm free. No, it was 8:00 at night before I was free. So I really didn't know what I got into on that, but I'm still doing it. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy putting on a good match. I don't know. I've had some shooters, some USPSA guys show up, some 3-gunners, and they come shoot, and they tell me they have fun. So that's all I need to hear.
That's cool. A lot of times the shooters who move on to the other sports, they tend not to come back to IDPA. So what is it you think that you do that attracts? Is it just because they don't have a whole lot of options, or do you have a philosophy about how you design stages and put your matches together that attracts shooters? No matter what their interest is, they'll find something that's fun for them.
I don't know if it's a philosophy. I've told the guys, I just want you to come have fun, be safe, and enjoy your trigger time. Trigger time is precious to some of the guys. They're oil field working 60, 70 hours a week. And when they get that day off, they need to be able to enjoy it. You need to come have fun. So sometimes my stages can be, I've been called a few names. I'm nowhere near Bora's stage designs, but I've had a few that some shooters, and I won't say their names, but some shooters have just looked at me, pointed a finger, and said, "Really? You can do it. I know you can." I said, "I know I can, but this is a tier 1. What are you doing to me?" So I'm challenging you. And I make this, and I try not to make the stages too overly laid out for, let's say, PCC. I'm not going to put a ton of long distance shots and that's all you have, or I'm also going to put where you're going to have to do a left hand lean to a target that's PCC guy is going to have to bend. He's not going to have to be able to get to it. I'm trying to make it a challenge, but I took some stages from some of the majors I've been to, and I brought them home as well. Said, hey, this is a national stage. I want you guys to give it a shot. So I went as far as went to Michael's and picked up colored T-shirts and put them on the targets. And the looks I got was like, what are you doing?
World-class stages. And
this is a world-class stage, guys. You're going to shoot it. And you know what? They had fun with it.
Awesome.
They really did. So, I think sharing major stages like True Glow and the Mission 160 stuff, and I really think sharing that with these guys that don't get to go or are not particularly wanting to go and shoot around the country, they think it's kind of cool, and I might kind of spur them on a little bit more.
Right.
I know it spurs me on to be a little better. Then I kind of look at a match and go, did I do this? What am I going to do here? It's too late. I can't pull it. So.
Well, so as we sort of wrap things up here, what is it about IDPA that sank that hook so deep for you that because there are other sports there, you have shooters who come from other sports to your matches. You could be out spending time shooting the other sports that shall not be named. But you've devoted a lot of time and effort to IDPA and making it great there in the Permian Basin. Why is IDPA so special to you? What do you love about this sport?
This IDPA took me in, local club, major matches. I've watched them take people in with no experience, and I have shot here for a couple of years now, and we bring in other people that, hey, I've never really shot except blank. And they come in, and we don't necessarily hold their hand, but we help them. We help them progress, which has helped me progress. I've not seen that anywhere before. Now, I do shoot some of those other unknown name matches, and I'm a member, and I think that helps show that I'm here to play the game, and I want everybody involved. And I think that helps keep me going, because everybody accepts me for being the IDPA match director. Hey, look, Wes is here. If you want to go shoot his matches, it's on this day. So I'm getting some backup from some other clubs, and it's a family. It really is. You bring in the young new shooters, you bring in the older guys, you bring in us that are middle age, and it just helps you have fun. It's a great sport. Anybody can do it. We've got some high school kids that come out with their parents, and we have a gentleman that's in his 70s that comes out and he shoots, and he's good. He'll run you down, and can't get that anywhere else. I mean, I've got grandkids now, and I've already introduced them. This is a Nerf gun home in my house. We have the Arnold Schwarzenegger chain gun, and I'm trying to get them familiar with stuff, and I want them to be comfortable around it. And eventually I'd like to see them shoot IDPA. I just think it's a good family oriented club, and I want to keep it that way, especially here.
Very good. Well, Wes, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for everything you're doing for IDPA out in West Texas. Looking forward to, I hate I didn't get a chance to see you at Texas State last year. Hope I get to this year. And I hope we get to see a sanctioned match in the Permian Basin in the future.
I really appreciate you having me on. I will see you at either the True Glow or the other one in Crescent. I'll be working that one. I got volunteered. Or voluntold, if that's right. But I would love to see you come out here when we get this match hosted.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you, Lloyd.
All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your support. Thank you to our guest for coming on the show. And thank you to our awesome sponsor, Match Shark, for making this entire season possible. If you would, please take a minute to check out our website, Unload Podcast. Lots of cool previous episodes are there, links to all sorts of great information. Just check out the guest list as well. Join the Facebook group too if you want to connect with other fans and get updates on the latest news. You can find that at unloadpodcast.com/Facebook. Check out our YouTube channel. We've got a lot of cool videos there at unloadpodcast.com/YouTube. And if you'd like to support the show personally, consider becoming a patron, just $1 a month at patreon.com/unload. And for your support, I'll send you out a sticker and you'll have my undying gratitude for your help. If you or someone you know would make an interesting guest for a future episode, you can contact me at unloadpodcast.com. Just go to the contact button in the menu at the top of the page and send me a message. Or you can send me an email at Lloyd, LLOYD, at unloadpodcast.com. Tune in again next Thursday for another episode of Unload and Show Clear, powered by Match Shark. We are a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network. Be sure to check out all of the other pro-freedom podcasts at selfdefenseradio.net.